Hi everybody and welcome back or to my channel. My name is Rachel and this is my channel where I share everything to do with living a handmade, homegrown and slow life. So today's video is another Christmas video. We are now going to be doing Christmas videos until the end of the year because this is my final proper sit down video before Vlogmas begins, which is really exciting. So I thought I would just go through all of the things that I am hoping to make for Christmas this year. I know that it's a little bit late because I haven't really made any of these yet. It is the end of November, but things have just been so busy, and to be honest, I really love those weeks leading up to Christmas, those Advent weeks, to do some crafting and do some making. I know that the trend now is to sort of start Christmas super early. People are literally decorating this year in the middle of November, but I like to sort of take it slow, as I do with everything in my life. And yeah, I think it just really gets me into the festive spirit, having all these festive crafts to make. And that may mean that, you know, they only go out for like the actual Christmas Day, Boxing Day, etc. But then I have them next year as well. So every year I tend to make some decorations in December and tend to make some things for the house. So that is what I'm going to be doing this year. And I have 10 different things to share with you and tell you about. So yeah, grab a cup of tea and let's get cozy and start this Christmas video. Okay, I've got my little list so that I don't forget anything. The very first thing that I have on my list, because I've been sort of keeping a note on my phone, so this isn't in any order of how I'm going to make things or when I'm going to make things. This is just literally in order of what I've noted down over the last few months of things that I would like to make and like to have for Christmas. I should also say as well, this is the first year ever, other than COVID, that we have actually been here in our own home at Christmas. Normally we sort of leave around somewhere between the 21st and the 23rd of December to go and stay with family for Christmas, but this year we are staying in our own home, which I'm really excited about. I'm really excited to have the chance to decorate and to enjoy all of that. Is something that I've really wanted to do for a very long time. So yeah, it means that all of these decorations will actually be enjoyed. Like normally we're away for Christmas and New Year, we sort of get back and we have to pack up all the decorations, whereas this year we've got that lovely time in between Christmas and New Year where we can really enjoy the house being decked out. And yeah, I'm just so excited. So the very first thing that I have on my list is a table runner. You may have seen, if you follow me on Instagram, we recently sort of updated our dining room area in our little cottage. It was painted bright Barbie pink on the walls and ceiling. And although we have bigger plans for decorating that room, we just wanted to freshen it up with some paint because it was quite grotty. Like the pink was, it's not just that it was not a great colour, it was also not in very good condition. So we've sort of whitewashed it, and we've got a brand new table and chairs as well, which I absolutely love. It's feeling very cottagey in there at the moment. So we've got this lovely long table, and I've actually got 7 people for dinner, including myself, on Boxing Day. So I wanted to make a lovely Christmas table runner that can go down the centre of this table. It's also the first, like, you come through our front door into our dining room, so it's a room that a lot of people will see when they come over, so it'll be really nice to have it properly decorated. So yes, I'm hoping to make this table runner. Now, I sort of had a few ideas for this. I thought about doing, you know, like a red gingham, sort of frilly table runner. And then I thought, actually, I would really love to have a go at block printing again. And I have, I think, 3 Christmas block prints now. And so I thought, you know what, I've got some fabrics in my stash. I've got some curtain lining in my stash because I've made quite a few things out of curtains from the charity shop, and then I tend to wash the lining and just keep it because it's a bit of plain fabric. And so I'm thinking that I'm going to take some of that fabric and I'm going to have a go at printing my own table runner. Now let me show you the super cute little stamp that I just purchased. So I just got this from CGL Block Prints, I think she's called. I will link her in the description below, and it is obviously just a really super cute bow. And so I'm thinking that I may actually end up just literally printing bows all over it, just red bows. So it's, as I say, it's sort of like an off-white classic curtain lining, plain fabric. So I could just cover it in red bows. I really like that idea. But I also have like a holly leaf, and then I've got a border design design. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but yeah, I'm really, really excited to have a go at that. I should also say as well that all of these sort of like crafty things that I'm hoping to do will be in my Vlogmas. I have decided after I did the vote, and most of you voted for this, to do a longer video at the end of each week that is a roundup rather than shorter videos each day. So hopefully I'll be taking you through some of these crafts with me. So yeah, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on that. So then going along with the table, the next thing I really want to make is some Christmas placemats. Now I have this fabric. This is actually a bedsheet and pillowcases. It's a double duvet cover and pillowcases that I got off Vinted, brand new, still in the packet. And I bought this because I wanted to make a super cute Christmas dress. So actually that is one of the things on the list, is my red gingham dress. I'm planning to make a Mabel dress, which is one of my favorites. I'm actually wearing one right now. I just want something really comfy for the Christmas period and super cute. I do think it's going to make me look a little bit sort of like I belong in Whoville, but I don't really have an issue with that. But there is so much fabric because it's a big double duvet and it's double-sided with the gingham, and then there's two pillowcases which are obviously double-sided. So there's a huge amount of fabric. So I'm expecting there to be quite a lot of this left. So if there is enough, I am going to have a go at making some placemats with this fabric, but it does depend on the dress. I'm going to make the dress first and see what is left, because my other thought is that I probably have enough curtain lining fabric and I could just make some matching block printed placemats to go with the table runner. So it's all sort of like a bit of an experiment at the moment. I'm not quite sure which way I'm going to go with that, but I just really love those gingham placemats that I've been seeing a lot on Pinterest with ruffles on them, and that will obviously use quite a lot of fabric, and I need 7 because I've got 7 people on Boxing Day, so I don't know if I'm going to have enough fabric to do it. It may be that I make some gingham and I make some block printed and we sort of alternate them on the table or something. I'm not sure yet, but that is the plan at the moment. Okay, and then sticking with the theme of bows, which is obviously like the theme of Christmas this year. I think it was last year as well. To be honest, I have had bows on my Christmas tree for over a decade. Like, that's always been a thing for me, is ribbons and bows everywhere, because it's a really cheap way to decorate. So yeah, I've always been into this. It's not really a trend for me, but there we go. I have decided to have a go at making some giant bows. I've been loving seeing these all over Pinterest and Instagram. They're super easy to make. They're really good for using up scraps. So I'm hoping to make a few giant bows with fabrics that I have in stash. Now, one thing I love the idea of is actually making a patchwork giant bow, because I do have lots of sort of scraps that may not work very well for not be enough fabric for making things, but actually if I patchwork it together, then I'm going to have a good piece of fabric. So again, it's going to be an experiment, pulling out what I've got in stash, hoping that I can find something that works, and yeah, making a couple of these. I would really love to have one in my living room above the mantelpiece on our mirror, and I would also really love to have one at the top of our dresser in the dining room. So I'd quite like to make at least 2, maybe 3, but again, we're just going to have to see how much fabric there actually is. I may go into the charity shops as well and start thrifting for some fabric and looking for some fabric for all of this kind of stuff, because I'm not sure I've got the right colours in stash, so we'll just have to wait and see. But that is the plan. And then this one is again on the theme of bows, but it's a really scrappy project, and I definitely have lots of scrappy bits of fabric that I can use for this. This is just a very simple bow garland, and I am literally just going to rip strips of fabric, tie bows, and then stick them together. There have been a lot of really great tutorials online about this, and that is basically what people are doing. Some people are buying ribbons, to make it look a bit nicer. Lots of people like me are literally just cutting up pieces of fabric or ripping up pieces of fabric. I quite like the sort of frayed edge that you get. So I'd really like to make a bow garland. That's a really simple one, really quick one. Now this next one I have already started. I wanted to make a knitted paper garland. I know that sounds a bit odd, but I found these pictures. I think some of them are crocheted, some of them are knitted, just super simple, and it's just knitting strips with scrappy pieces of yarn, and then sewing it together into a reusable reusable paper chain that you can put up year after year. So I'm on to my third colour at the moment, and I'd like to do 5 colours. So I do need to get a wiggle on, but I'm going to London this weekend and I'm going to be on the train, so I might do a lot of knitting on the train. But it's just like a super easy, quick little strip of garter stitch, so I can make quite a few in an afternoon. So hopefully I will be able to make enough to make a good sized garland, and it uses up a bunch of like just scraps. I'm using up a bunch of acrylic that I've had in my stash for absolutely ages because I don't really knit with acrylic much anymore. So yeah, I'm really excited for how that's going to look. And then sticking with knitting, I am also planning to knit a few more decorations. Every year I knit a few for the Christmas tree, but this year we've got a big enough house that we're actually going to have a garland going up the banister, and we're also going to have a garland over the fireplace as well as the tree. So I'd like to knit a few more sort of like stars and things like that to put on the garland that's going up the banister. I use this pattern which is free from Drops, which I will put in the description below for you. And then I would also like to knit a couple more, like I've knit sort of little bubble hats and little sweaters and things like that that we hang on the tree because I just think that's really cute, or mini stockings. Again, really good scrap busting project. So I'm going to knit a few of those over the next few weeks. Okay, the next one, super simple, super traditional. I am very much looking forward to making dried citrus garlands. So I've made these before with oranges, but I've seen this year a couple of people have made them with lemons and limes as well, and I just love all the different colours. I think it is so Christmassy. I think it's really going to suit the sort of colours that we have in our lounge, to have lots of dried oranges and cinnamon and pine cones and that kind of stuff. So I think I'm basically just going to decorate our lounge and our dining room, which is also our sort of hallway with the stairs, and they're going to be slightly different in terms of colours and styles. So it's going to be a bit more rustic in the living room. So that's where I'm going to have my dried oranges and my pine cones and things like that. So I'm planning to make, I think it's going to be a dried citrus fruit garland. I might try grapefruit as well, so you get those bigger pieces, and I think I'm going to have that going over the mantelpiece with the garland and everything. Again, I'll be taking you guys along with me on all of this over on my Vlogmas, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. Okay, next thing on the list is candles. I have made candles a couple of times before. Super easy. I just buy natural beeswax pellets, and then I add in my scents myself. I quite like at Christmas doing an orange and cinnamon candle, so that will probably what I'll do. I'll make a big batch of wax and then I'll pour it into multiple receptacles. So we've got all sorts of little pots that I've collected from the charity shop, jars, things like that. We've also got pots that were candles originally that we've then, you know, burnt, and I will replace. And so I just love to have loads of candles around at this time of year. I love to make the house smell nice, and I like it to be as natural as possible. So having that beeswax mixed with those organic, natural, essential oils is a really, really great way of doing that. So I'm really excited for that. I may go and have a look again in the charity shop for any more like sort of Christmassy like pots and things that I can find so that I can make extras. I've seen a few people have bought like lovely bowls and things like that where they then done like a 3-wick candle, which I just love the look of that. So yeah, I'm gonna have a really good sort of route around in the charity shops at some point this in the next few weeks and see what I can find. Okay, the next one I'm super excited to make is a tree skirt. So I've been wanting to make a tree skirt for so long because I just think it looks gorgeous under the tree, and it, you know, really neatens everything up, but I just have never got round to it. There is a great pattern from Sydney Graham that I'm hoping to use, which is like a lovely scalloped Christmas tree skirt, and I think you can do it in multiple different sizes, and a lot of people I've seen have done a patchwork version, which I just think works really well because again, it's a great way of using up sort of scrappy fabrics in your stash. You just make yourself a big piece of patchwork that is then your fabric that you work from. So I'm going to be sort of rooting through all of my fabrics and pulling out the ones that feel Christmas coloured, that go together. And I'm really excited to make this Christmas tree skirt that can then come out year after year after year. I think it's hopefully not going to be too big of a project because I do want it for when the Christmas tree comes in a couple of weeks' time, so I need to get a wiggle on with that. But again, it requires me to make other things and then use leftover fabric, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, that is everything that I am making for Christmas this year. There may end up being more bits and bobs that pop up during Vlogmas. You know me, like who knows what crafts I might decide to do and have a go at. But that's what I've sort of got written down at the moment on my plan. So I've already made one dress that I talked about in my autumn making plans. So you can go and watch that video, which is my Christmas Day dress. And then obviously I've got the red gingham that I've spoken about that I'm hoping to make. So those are sort of my Christmas dress outfits. The rest of it is all like decor and things for the house. So slightly smaller and shorter projects. But I'm really excited to take you guys along with me on Vlogmas this year. We're in a new place in our lovely new cottage, which is always so exciting to get to decorate a new home because we lived in a very small house last time and, you know, there wasn't a lot of scope for decoration. We just did the same thing every year. Whereas this year we get to experiment a bit and have a go at some different things, and I'm really excited to do some crafty bits for that. So yeah, make sure you subscribe and you follow along and you don't miss out on the crafty Vlogmas that I've got coming this year. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you're making for Christmas. I love to hear what everybody's doing or what you've already made. I'm sure you're more organised than me. And I love to get inspiration from you guys, so do leave me a comment below. And if you want to sort of follow along with some other bits and bobs, you can follow me over on my Instagram as well. So yeah, I will see you in Vlogmas part 1, guys. I can't believe we're there already this year. I really can't wait. So yeah, can't wait to see you there. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.